The Secrets of Disney is brought to you by the Star Quest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit sqpn.com/give.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's there, Mama?
10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck.
How do you do?
How do you do what?
Show me the smile.
If you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all.
Very nice. You can sit by me.
Everything's so wonderful.
Come on, get up. Come on, get up.
Where are we going?
Up to Neverland.
You must kiss me.
Excuse me?
Please, princess.
One kiss.
Unless you beg for more.
Hi there, and welcome to another episode of The Secrets of Disney. And I'm Deborah, one of your hostesses. Joining me today is Sherry.
Hello.
And today's episode, we're going to talk about the rumored and actual plans, I guess. Some of them are rumored and some of them are in the works for the expansion of EPCOT. So what happened recently over the summer is there's a big conference. If you're not familiar with Disney, there's a big conference called D23, which is like the Disney fan mecca conference of all conferences where, you know, the Walt Disney Company comes out and announces all of their new stuff that's coming out or it's in the works or new movies and stuff like that. And it's kind of, it's really one of my dreams to go there sometime. I don't know if you'd want to go there, Sherry. Maybe that's...
I don't know. I can go either way about it. I want to add, though, for the audience that anyone can become a D23 member. There's different tiers of membership. So I'm a member and I got the base level. I think I'm supposed to get a certificate or something, which I never did. But you can become a member, and then the different tiers up, so gold and I'm guessing platinum, whatever, each one you can pay for to get on a higher level, and the higher level people get tickets into the D23 meeting that Deborah's referring to. I'm guessing as just a general member, you can also buy a ticket.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure because I've never... like I can't go. It's not one of the things I'm going to use my vacations for, honestly. But if you feel so inclined, you're welcome to try and do it or pay for the annual membership.
Yeah. And you got a pretty good perk out of it. Recently, your D23 membership, you actually got the Disney Plus member, like they offered you like
subscription
yes. For 3 years, which I'm like, I don't know if I want 3 years of this, so when I get it, I'm gonna play it by ear and probably month by month because I don't watch a lot of TV anyway.
Yeah, my kids tease me because when there's a discount out there and I'm kind of thinking about something, it always sways me to do it, or almost always. And we don't as a family watch TV very often. It's
right.
A very special treat to have like family movie night or go to the theater. So the decision to get the Disney Plus, which is their streaming subscription of all the Disney movies, cartoons, Marvel movies, ESPN, was kind of like, I was like, no, we're not going to get it. And then when this D23 membership discount came up, I was like, ooh, okay, maybe I'll do it.
Yeah, and I was a little jealous. I was like, oh, I should do it. And then I looked at the price. I'm like, you know what? I have to, there's other things I have to do right now. So
right.
But
you're smart. You're smarter than me.
I'm broker than you, apparently. But that's
so
okay.
Anyway, back to EPCOT. Back to EPCOT. Priorities because, I have to go to EPCOT again, like this year. So my money was going for that and not. I wish I could go.
Because there's all sorts of things that are coming very, very soon that they've been working on, and stuff that they just announced at D23 that will reinvigorate and reinvent the park in a way in the next coming years in time for basically Disney World's 50th anniversary and Disney and Epcot's 40th anniversary, which is coming up in 2021 would be Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom's 50-year anniversary of when it opened, 1971, and then Epcot opened in on October 1st, 1982. So they're expanding, and it's about time, because
Yes, about time.
I remember, and this is one of my little memories from when I was 7. Is my parents took me to Disney the first time I was 7. My brother was 8, and then my other brother was 16, and it was Christmas, and they took us in 1982 to Magic Kingdom and Epcot, and I remember bits and pieces of it, how cool Epcot was to an 8-year-old. It was, everything was cool to an 8-year-old.
Awesome.
Yeah, everything is awesome. Wrong franchise.
Sorry.
But I remember going into Spaceship Earth and how special that was. And if you're not familiar with Spaceship Earth, is the golf ball, the gray golf ball like thing that's the icon of the park. And it really hasn't changed much, and it's changed in ways that I think Sherry and I, and anybody who's gone to Disney in the last 40 years can recognize, like, oh, it used to be Walter Cronkite.
Yes.
And now it's Judi Dench doing the narration. But
yes, I don't like the new one. So
yeah,
I was glad to hear when they're planning on renovating the ride Spaceship Earth again.
Yeah,
because the second half of it's not so great for me.
It's funny now that we had talked about this a little bit. This is actually we were talking about this a week ago, and it now occurs to me that almost every ride at Epcot is getting some sort of a facelift in the next year or two. Almost every ride.
Which is good.
Yeah, which is good.
It's good.
So yeah, Spaceship Earth is one of them where they're talking about refurbishing and redoing some of it and new narration and all that. And that's, to me, that's a minor one compared to everything else that was announced.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to answer with my own answer, I guess. But we'll start this way. What big thing, when you heard about all the things coming to the park, what big thing did you think was like the biggest announcement?
Oh, the biggest announcement?
Yeah, like the one.
The biggest announcement that I thought was happening was how they were going to renovate all of the interventions areas across the whole front. So it's inclusive of many changes going. So I don't know if that actually answers your question.
No, that's
so go ahead.
No, that does answer my question. But to give a little insight is right now Epcot is divided into 2 parts. There's Future World and World Showcase. So World Showcase has all the countries and their culture. 11 countries and their cultures, and it's half of the park. And then the other half of the park is Future World, which was the idea that science and nature and all of these discoveries and innovations into the future, and how the world's going to be different and better in the future, and all that's kind of being revamped right now, and they're going to move that into 3 different areas, or
yes.
Change it into 3 different themes, I guess you could say.
Yes, the themes are discovery, and if you've been to the parks, it's or not been to the parks, as you enter the park, it'll be on the left. So it'll go, if you walk towards the left, there's rides like Test Track and Mission Space, and that area is going to be called Discovery. And then the middle, where the globe is that Deborah described, is going to be called Celebration. And if you go to the right, where they have the Nemo area and the land where Soren is, that's going to be called Nature.
And so there's a couple things that we're hoping will change, and a couple things that we're hoping will stay the same, and a couple things that we're hoping will be demolished completely. And,
yes.
and they started already by working in the middle. Like if you go to Epcot like today, and you walked in from the main parking lot, like you would see walls of construction walls just everywhere because they're tearing down mostly the middle part right now. They're doing away with what they would call the interventions area. There's no more Starbucks, no more free. There used to be a place called Cool Station, sorry. And it was a Coca-Cola thing where you could try all these Cokes around the world. And it was very popular, and they did away with that. That had been there for 20 years. Like, I remember I think they came out with it in the millennium. And it was like, oh, this is cool. It's only temporary. Don't get used to it. And then we got used to it after 20 years. And like, oh, no.
It was good. It was fun. It was free drinks.
Right.
You just go in there and you fill up your bottle and you had the drinks. Now, some of them are really nasty.
Like the Beverly out of Italy was just bitter. It was a very bitter
drink.
Right. And so it was
but then there were some that were okay, you know, that you could drink more than one little sip of. But
my favorite.
You had to be careful.
Yeah, no, just a tangent. My favorite was actually the one out of Japan, which was the one with the vitamins in it. I always liked that one for whatever reason. I thought it tasted really good.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't remember which ones were which. Unfortunately, unlike you, I had to move home.
Yeah, I know.
You got to stay there much longer than I did.
Well, and that's the fun thing is, I had worked in EPCOT for a couple years, and when I was undercover in security and also, on our time off, we'd go to EPCOT. But, it was like when I was undercover working security on specific days, we'd be in the park and be like, oh, let's go have free soda. So we'd always go slip over there and have, free soda. And yeah, so I probably did have a lot, my share of free
drinks.
In fact, I think there was a time frame in a year where I was like, let me go get my vitamins. And that's why I like the Japan one better. Anyway, that's gone.
Well, anyway, so the changes in EPCOT.
That's gone. And the Starbucks that was there with it is gone. And a lot of that stuff is in the middle is being demolished and making room for other things. Like there's going to be a new fireworks VIP viewing platform, so to speak, or a vista is the plans. For me, that was one of those things that I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. I'm not quite sure conceptually how that's going to look. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen the plans for that yet.
Yeah, I'm curious of where they're going to put it, because to have a really nice viewing area, I think the closer to the World Showcase would be better. But all that area, because from the front area, which will be converted into to what they call Celebration, to get to World Showcase, you have to walk over basically a bridge. Right. So there's water on both sides of you. And so I'm not unless the viewing area is like over there, I don't know how it's going to be great. Why would you pay extra money for that?
I had assumed it was going to be where one of the closer to Spaceship Earth, like closer towards the middle. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know what the new there. So one of the things that just happened that goes in with this conversation is that after 20 years, they had their final showing of their Illuminations Reflections of Earth fireworks show, and that happened just recently, like in the last month and a half or so. And then they're replacing it with a temporary show that's only going to run like a year and a half, called EPCOT Forever, which is kind of what it gets all us old fogies who remember, the 1980s rides and the music from that generation, and they incorporated it into a show. And it's really,
which means that I have to go back next year.
I know.
Within this year to see it before they replace it with the next one.
Right, because from what I hear is they're going to make it more Disney centric, so more characters, more Disney identifiable music, like Little Mermaid music and stuff like that, which makes me kind of sad. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I like EPCOT being unique in the whole science and unique music, but I think they're trying to brand it to be more Disney, and it Disney. Honestly makes me sad. Because I
think it'll depend on how they do it.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I totally agree. I'm just, if I wanted to watch Disney music set to fireworks, I'm going to go over to Magic Kingdom. or I'm going to go
Yeah.
to Disney Hollywood Studios, or, something like that. I want something unique at Epcot because
Well,
it's a unique place.
I think when I say I think it depends on how they do it, what actually comes to mind is the new Animal Kingdom fireworks show,
Oh,
or
yeah.
the water show,
The Rivers of Light
called Rivers
show.
of Light.
Mhm.
Yes. So on our trip there, we went to see it, and we had phenomenal seats. We happened to get there right at the perfect time where we got front row seats, because they fill up a row and then they send people, in the next row behind, and then they go down to the next row in the front and then work their way back up the bleachers, I guess, stands. So we were able to get into the front row. And so it was unobstructed. It was great. I was really impressed
It's
with
beautiful.
it because it was, yes, it was beautiful. They used water as a screen. They had these floating lotus flower looking things that went around and were shooting water like a water fountain displays. And then they had the Disney music and Disney scenes on the water. And so, and it was all centered around the animals of the Disney movies. So I actually really, really enjoyed it, even though they did incorporate all the Disney music and Disney movies and things like that. So maybe with Epcot, if they're able to come up with, and I don't put this past the Disney Imagineers, of coming up with really, really neat laser, water, flying thing, whatever technology,
Mhm.
but also incorporate the Disney music and movies into it, I think it could be a really nice show.
Yeah. Well, from what I see with the new, like the interim show, I'm kind of like, ooh, because they brought in a new feature that nobody had seen before. So if you're not familiar, there is a big lake in the middle of World Showcase, and all of the countries are around the big lake, and that's where they do their fireworks. And but they have to be careful with their fireworks because they're shooting them off effectively over people, so they have to be
Yes.
like, Jimmy, my eye. No,
Yeah. And people sit all around the lake. It's a huge, huge lake. Like,
yeah,
you don't want to swim across it because you will get tired. There is a ferry that you can ride across.
right.
That I don't know what hours it works, but it does go across the lake. So it's not a small lake, but people do sit all around the perimeter, literally.
Yeah.
All around the perimeter.
The distance from around the circle, if you were to walk the entire distance around World Showcase, it is 1.33 miles. So
That's correct.
yeah.
Because that is the ending of, I think, most, if not all, of their Disney runs.
Yes. Because I used to, as something for me to do, I used to try to get around there 3 times in an hour, like in the evening if I had like lunchtime or something like that. It was like, ooh,
Nice.
exercise, yeah. And so they introduced this kite thing that's like, imagine a kite with sparklers on it, and it flies kind of, there's several of them flying around this lake, and it is beautiful, just so
Wow.
beautiful.
I need to reserve my tickets now.
I know, reserve your tickets now. I can help you with that. And like I said, I'm gonna try my best in November. Actually, I'm going for some travel agent training at the place we dare not mention on this podcast, but I'm gonna mention it at Universal mostly. But I'm like, I need to sneak my Disney in because there's stuff that's even opened in the last 2 months that I'm like, we must do it. So one of the things is Epcot Forever. And then the other thing is the new Skyliner, which, even though it's crashed once, I'm still like game to go on it. So
is it up and running again?
yeah, there's it only like a week went by after the crash initially, where nobody got hurt, just a little a little scared, a little inconvenienced. But they're like a week later, they're like, yep, we're up and running now, and hopefully things will be back to normal. And
so as insofar as a change in Epcot, the Skyliner is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The Skyliners, for anyone who cares to know, are basically like gondolas. If you've been skiing, they're like the gondola lifts that can take you from point A to point B. The ones at Disney are set to go between the studios, Disney's Hollywood Studios, EPCOT, Caribbean Beach, Art of Animation,
Pop Century.
and Pop Century.
And the new, that's another thing, new hotel. The Disney's Riviera, Riviera Beach, Riviera. I'm nomenclature, sorry. People. But
so
yeah.
the Skyliners will take you to and from, and they just carry you, in the sky, basically. And if you haven't been kept up to date with the news, about a week ago, you said?
Well, it was like 2 weeks ago. There was a week
ago.
after they opened officially September 29th. And then a week later, like first week of October, they had a crash where
September 29th.
September 29th. And then in October, like October 4th or 5th, they had a malfunction that caused several of the cars to crash into each other at one of the loading areas.
Stations.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh no, and they had to close down for a week and investigate and figure out what happened. And then a week later,
and a bunch of people got stuck up in the air.
it was fun to see emergency. How well did they prepare for an emergency? Because they really got to try out their emergency skills right away. And so I'm sure it's good. It's good for improvement. Anyway, we should probably get back to EPCOT. There's a lot of Disney news right now.
Yeah. So another change that is actually, or there's two that I guess I can mention that are in the works right now, is there's going to be a space restaurant.
Yes.
And from what I understand, you go in and it's like you're in a space, I don't want to say spaceship, but something in space. And as you look out the windows, you can see the stars, the galaxy, and you feel like you're in space. I'm really curious to find out what kind of food they serve.
I'm gonna. Can I read you something from Disney Blog? It's basically it's gonna open in December, like a couple months from now. They are that close to finishing it.
Wow!
And then so it says it's opening in winter 2019, and it's called Space 220, which it takes the dining adventure 220 miles above EPCOT, which is, we suspend belief there for a second. Guests will board an elevator that will stimulate real-time rocketing into orbit as they travel to a space station hovering above the Earth. Diners will see daytime and nighttime views of Earth as they're surrounded by a full panoramic view of space. And the food type's going to be internationally inspired cuisine, whatever that means. There's no menu available yet, but I imagine in the next month or so, we'll be able to see it. But,
exciting!
And they will be offering more than 1,000 bottles of the world's finest wines and a wide selection of craft beer.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow! So, in other words, you don't need to become an astronaut.
Mm-hmm.
No need going to school. Just get yourself to Disney, and you can go to space.
That's right. So
that's awesome.
So that's gonna be opening. And then my favorite thing that's not, they didn't have to release this technically at D23. We'd already known about it. Is France is like doubling in size. The country, not like the physical, the pavilion, France pavilion at EPCOT is getting a Remy's Ratatouille adventure is coming to next year.
I'm excited about that.
Oh, it's already in Paris at Disneyland Paris. So we are getting it in EPCOT. I am super excited. And they're opening 2 new restaurants in that pavilion. They're opening a sit-down creperie and then a fast food creperie as well. So they're terribly expanding. They're I can't wait. That's one of my favorite ones.
I don't know that I could. I guess I'm gonna have to try one of these crepes, but Palmiers at France are still my favorite. I don't know that anyone's gonna be able to replace that for me.
It's so funny. The other day I sent just for the listeners, I sent Sherry a video of I don't know if you're familiar with Delish, and they do all of these weird YouTube videos where this girl, she's kind of a comedian, goes and tries all the food at different theme parks. And she went and got a palmier at Animal Kingdom, and Sherry's like, "Wait, there's palmiers at Animal Kingdom? Where?" And so it was.
But it's just not going to taste the same.
Well,
with the French flavor and ambiance. Oui, oui.
Well, yeah, we'll have to try it for science sake.
Okay. Twist my arm.
There you go. Ow. But that's what I'm excited for. And I actually heard, so one of the instructors I work with at the university, when she heard all the D23 stuff come out, and she's like, kind of like, she's a very Disney fanatic. It's kind of fun to see somebody in sociology be, their office covered in Disney and Star Wars stuff. But anyway, her thing she was excited about is the new Mary Poppins ride they're going to be opening probably in 2 years. It's going to be over at the UK pavilion. So right next to Ratatouille, you were going to have Mary Poppins. So and nobody really knows what that's going to be like right now, but the teaser is a step in time with Mary Poppins. So we'll see what that's going to entail.
Supposedly they're going to build Cherry Tree Lane that we can walk down and, step in time down the street ourselves and then a ride, but there's no details on the ride yet.
Right. Maybe it's on the rooftop of London.
Ooh.
Maybe it's a chimney.
That would be
like as really, a chimney really sweep neat. Kind of theme. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be really, really fun.
Yeah. But, that's all speculation. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. And the funny thing is, okay, so for those of you who don't know me and Sherry's history, is that I started my Disney career in 1995, when I was like just a little baby. No, I was I was 19, and then I came back in 1998 and started working more of a serious this is gonna be my career, is working at Disney, and that was when they started working on millennial stuff for 1999, and so EPCOT was going to be the millennial park, right? And so that's what the last time they really revamped the park. That's when Test Track came out, and that's when all of the older EPCOT rides like World of Motion and was replaced by Test Track, and Mission Space replaced my favorite, which was Horizons, and they kind of shut down Wonders of Life Pavilion, and then the dinosaur ride, Exxon's dinosaur ride, got replaced by Ellen's Energy Adventure, and now that's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy, which is coming out next year. I'm super excited about that one. It's going to be a roller coaster.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. You're probably double excited because I believe it was at Disneyland, Guardians of the Galaxy replaced Towers of Terror.
Yeah, that's right.
So at Disney World, they're building a brand new Guardians of the Galaxy ride, so they're saving your Tower of Terror.
I know. Thank you.
At least for now.
Well, and that's the thing is they better not touch my Tower of Terror because I think we have the best one. But anyway, that's another subject for another time. But the thing is that Marvel, out of all the Marvel comics, I think Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite, or the Marvel movies. So I'm super excited about this one.
I still haven't seen them.
I like you should.
You know what? Now that I'm gonna have the Disney Plus,
yep,
I can go watch it.
Homework.
Huh?
It's your homework.
Exactly. Oh, for anybody out there, there's a website. I don't remember what it was, and Deborah, you might be able to say because you're the one that sent it to me. Where if you binge watch 30 Disney shows on Disney Plus, you have a chance of winning $1,000.
Not winning, they'll pay you to do it. But it's one of the, so I actually applied for this, believe it or not.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and at first I'm like, because when you see the criteria for it, you're like, yeah, they're looking for the influencer. So because they're like, how many followers on your social media account do you have? And I'm like, oh.
Zero. I have zero.
And I'm like, yeah, I am not like the one that has 5,000 followers. I know people who have 5,000 followers, but on SQPN, our Father Roderick has 5,000 followers easily, more than that probably.
Wow, good for him.
So there's several of our lovely podcasters on our network that have multitudes of followers. So they'd probably get a better chance of getting this $1,000. So you have to watch a movie a day during November, I think, or 30 days in November, or
Yeah, I think it starts November 12th.
right.
Because that's when D Plus becomes available.
And then
And then it's 30 days after that.
and then you have to write a critique of the movie, good, bad, or indifferent, probably good, so that and then you probably have to give it, send it out to your followers, and then they subscribe to Disney Plus, and go watch the movie. So as an influencer, I feel like my influence is very, very little. But, I applied anyway, so we'll see.
Your influence is probably a lot more than mine. So, it's all relative.
Well, and it's funny how we don't know when we're influencing other people, and I always hope it's a good influence and not a bad influence. I'm sure you feel that way as a parent. I hope that.
Yeah, I like to influence my own kids because I want them to grow up to be good, decent people.
Mm-hmm.
I could care less about influencing other people and other people's children.
Aww.
Just, everybody has a different way of parenting. Everybody has different views of the world. And so who am I to think that I am better than anybody else?
Right.
Right? And so just be respectful of, not just with parenting, but in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just all be respectful of each other, and even though we can disagree, we can still appreciate that we're all trying to do the best we can do.
Right. Can I brag another tangent? I gotta brag about my influence in a very small way, but it made my day the other day. So if you don't know, I also did iPilgrim podcast, and my other passion is pilgrimage. So I'm currently working on selling another education abroad trip for the Camino de Santiago through the University of Nebraska. And when I first arrived at my department, I was kind of one of those that introduced everybody in my department to what pilgrimage is and what Camino is. And a lot of them are non-practicing religious, secular people. And so one of the biggest, kindest thing I could say is that she probably doesn't believe in organized religion at all. She is in Spain. She was in Spain last week, and she was in Pamplona, and she sent me a picture of her standing on one of the Camino markers in Pamplona because she wanted to tell me she was thinking about me and the Camino. And I'm like, oh, you would never heard about that 3 years ago.
Right.
So I felt really like, oh, somebody does listen to me.
That's great.
Anyway, back to Disney. So let's influence you about Disney. Which yes. So
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, so Mary Poppins is new. They are putting out new films for all their Circle Vision, like from China to Canada to France. The anticipation is going to be all new movies.
Nice.
And then
those are my dad's favorite. He loves history. He loves watching those kinds of movies.
Right.
And they're AC. So,
right.
All around win-win-win for him.
Right. And in the middle of summer, one of the best things you can ever do for yourself is go watch The American Adventure and watch the Voices of Liberty sing before The American Adventure. And that's a good hour of quality air conditioning in Florida. So do yourself a favor and go at least see the Voices of Liberty if you see nothing else. If you're not
just because of the AC, they are amazing.
So Voices of Liberty, just so you know, is an a cappella group that sings patriotic and folk music from Americana. So it's stuff you like, Oh Susanna, but it's so impressive the way they sing it. It's so beautiful.
Yes.
So I always recommend that. But anyway, that's not changing. Yay! That's not changing.
Yay!
But there will be a lot of different things changing in the countries. New restaurants and new movies, and even they're talking about. So there's only really technically right now 2 rides in the World Showcase. So there's Norway has the Frozen ride, which used to be just a Norway ride.
Not worth 120-minute wait.
No, it is not, but it is cute if you like Frozen.
Yes.
And I do enjoy that ride. It's just not waiting in line for it. That's also good quality AC if you want to wait in AC for 45, 50 minutes. Yeah. But the other one is that's been there since the park opened. Like, it's gone through one rehab 20 years ago. It went through a rehab, and now it's it's the Mexico boat ride. And it's now Donald Duck themed. It used to be just Mexico tourism themed. Yeah. And now there's a rumor, and this isn't confirmed yet, that they're thinking about making Coco, the movie Coco, themed, which makes sense. And we were joking the other day that if you go into the Mexican pavilion, which is an enclosed pavilion, also good for AC, you can basically get on the Mexico boat ride without a wait. It's a walk on. The most you'll wait is 3 minutes. But
for the next boat to show up.
Yeah, for the next boat to show up, exactly. And I was joking with Sherry. I said, "Oh, you wait longer for the Cava del Tequila, so that the Tequila Cave has a 30-minute wait, and the boat ride has a 5-minute wait. So you wait longer to get tequila in Mexico than you do to get on a boat." So they're hoping to change that, I think, to get more people to take the boat ride as opposed to go in there just to have tequila.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really, really good.
Because
So unfortunately, I have to go.
Oh, and wait, you know what? We didn't mention everything, but we'll talk about it, I'm sure, in a future episode. So
yes.
I will just give you ways to contact us. Of course, you've been listening to The Secrets of Disney on StarQuest Production Network. To find links from this discussion and to find previous episodes or to send us feedback, please visit sqpn.com/Disney. You can also email us at disney@sqpn.com or follow StarQuest on social media at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia or on Twitter at SQPN. I'm Deborah Shaven.
And I'm Sherry Tamamoto.
And thank you again for joining us on The Secrets of Disney on StarQuest.
Ta-ta for now.